Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about one of the most useful and important concepts in Java, which is array. Array solves a very common and real problem that every programmer faces. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what an array is, why we need it, how to create one, and how to access and modify its values. Let's start with a real problem. Imagine you are building a program that stores the marks of 5 students. With arrays, you will create a separate variable for each student. For example, int m1 equal 85. We just copy and paste it for other students. Student 2, student 3, student 4, and student 5. Like 90. 78, 92, and 88. Now this might seem fine for 5 students, but what if you have 50 students? Or 500? You will need 500 separate variables, each with a different name? That is incredibly tedious, hard to manage, and almost impossible to work it in a loop. This is exactly the problem that arrays solve. So an array is a collection of similar type of data stored together in one single variable. So think of it like a row of lockers in a school. Each locker holds one item. All lockers are in one place and each locker has a number, so you can find exactly what you need. In Java, the row of lockers is the array. Each locker is an element, and the locker number is the index. There are 2 important things to know about arrays. First, all elements in an array must be of the same data type. So all elements in an array must be of the same data type. You cannot mix integers and strings in the same array. So second one, array elements are stored in continued memory. Array elements are stored in a continued memory. So it means one right after the other. This makes accessing them extremely fast and efficient. Before we create an array, let's look at how to declare an array variable. For a normal variable, you write something like this, int num and semicolon, right? But for an array variable, you write something like this, int square brackets num 1 and semicolon, the name of the array, and then semicolon. Again, the data type of the array. First, you can write the name of the arrays, then square brackets, and then semicolon. Both are completely acceptable in Java. They mean exactly the same thing. However, the first style, this one, int square brackets, nuns, then the name of the array, and the semicolon, is more commonly used and considered better practice. Now let's look at the 2 ways to actually create an array in Java. Way 1. Way number 1, which is called literal notation. So this is the simplest and most straightforward way. You declare the array and assign all values at the same time. For example, first we write the data type of array, for example int. Then we write square brackets, then we write the name of the array. For example, I write mark is 2, whatever you like, then assignment operator, curly braces, and then the value that we want to assign. For example, 85, whatever you have to write, 90, 78, 92, and 88, and we close the curly braces and semicolon. Java automatically figures out the size of the array based on the number of values you provide. So it's simple and clean. Now let's talk about way number 2. First, let me write the main method. First, I write the keyword main, press the control, then space, and then enter. So, in here, way number 2, which is called object notation. Why object notation? So this way uses the new keyword, just like creating an object. So you can use it with values. So you can assign the values, or you can create the array with just a size and assign values later. For example, in the data type, then the name of the array, for example marks, then the keyword new, then again the data type, and the number of the values you want to enter. I mean the length or the number of values you want to assign to this array. For example, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I write 5 and then semicolon. So to assign the values manually one by one, first I copy the name of the array, paste it here, then I write the index. I will talk about it later. The number of the index. What is the first index is 0, then assignment operator, then the value that you want to assign, and semicolon. I do the same for remaining elements. So index number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. How many elements? 5. Then the values 90, 78, 92, and 88. We created an array that can hold 5 integers, but we assign the values manually one by one using indexed. It's called indexed. Now let's talk about how to access and modify the elements of an array. Every element in an array has an index. This one. A number that tells you its position. And here is the most important rule. Array indices always starts from 0, not 1. Let me write it here. Array indices always start from 0, not 1. So for an array of 5 elements, first element, its index is 0, like this one. For the second element, index is 1, like this one, and so on. The last index is always length minus 1. How? The length of this array is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last index is always length minus 1. It means 5 minus 1 equals to 4, like here. So if you want the n element, it is at index n minus 1. For example, the fourth element is at index 3. Why? Because 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. Let's see, this is in code. Let me write it. And I name it no equal, example, curly braces, 10, 20, 30, and 40. Semicolon. Let me print it. That's out. I want to print the first element. I write the name of the array and it's index 0. Right? Let me print it. Run the program. Yeah. The first element is 10, while its index is 0. Let's do the same for other elements. 1, 2, and 3. I run the program. You see the values 10, 20, 30, and 40. Now let's use a for loop to traverse the entire array using the length property. So let me first comment here, this one. Okay, and instead of just writing system.out.println manually one by one, we can use for loop. How? I write for. How can we write for loop? Parentheses and curly braces. Inside the parentheses, we write our variable. For example, I name it I equal to 0, semicolon. And then I write my condition. I write I is less than. Then I write the number of or length of my array. For example, 4. If you don't know the length of your array, you can simply write the name of the array, no dot length, and then semicolon. I increment my variable. Inside the curly braces, I write system.out.println. I write the name of my array, no, and then I write the variable inside the index part. It automatically starts from 0, which is this element, then it is incremented the variable by 1, then each element will be printed. Let's check it. Yeah, we have the same outcome. Now let's modify some values. For example, I write it like here. Here, I modify. For example, I write the name of the array, no. Then, for example, I want to change the first variable value element. For example, first value was at index 0 with value 10. I want to assign it another value like 100. Now let's run the program. Yeah, we see that the first element this time is 100. Let's change the second element with index of 1. We change it to 200. Here we have 10. Let's run the program. Yeah, we could successfully change it. So we simply use index to point out the element we want to change and assign a new value to it. And this is arrays in Java. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe the channel so you never miss a lesson. See you in the next one.